Okay, so we'll take a look at these rooftop lights, running lights. So we'll step on the running board here, get us up there. And this is the first one. It is on the driver's side, and the light functions fine. I'm just trying to source where it's leaking in through the roof, and it's coming in through the headliner. You can see the small streak here above the vanity mirror right there on the driver's side. So it could be coming in through here, through a hole below this light or this light. Now to get these off, they just have 2 Phillips screws, which I have right here, and it'll be pretty dirty underneath here, so I just took my rag and clean up the area. Now if you look at the bottom of this light, you see the connection there, and then it appears that this whole area right here in gray with the white lettering is the gasket, and it goes all the way across and basically surrounds the connection here, and it even surrounds the 2 hold down points where the screws go. So this gasket actually looks fine. I don't see any rips or tears or any spots where the gasket's been worn away. Like maybe like if there was a split here, if it was worn down anywhere around the light connection, maybe this gasket could be bad, but this gasket looks fine. So I'm gonna put this back in and go on to the next one. Now I took a plastic trim tool, and you got to get in and under the gap and start prying it. And luckily, you know, if this was a lot older, like if this, you know, most of the cars I own were like 25, 30 years old, this would probably just break. But you can get under here and you can start to work it at a couple different corners to get these to pop off. And start with a plastic trim tool because you don't want to damage your paint. So I'll put this guy back on, just tighten it down, and then I'll take this one off, and what I can do is look at the gasket, and if it looks fine, I can actually just pour some water around this area, and once I tighten this back down, and then go on the inside and see if I can tell if it's dripping or not, like the previous owner said it would. So we'll take care of that. Just want to show you the process I'm going through here with these roof lights, and I'll check the last one on the end just to make sure that gasket's fine. That way I won't have any leaks in the future. So thanks for watching. I've got the 3 screws out of the middle roof light here. As you can see, got some dirt and grime all the way around underneath. And to be honest with you, this gasket, well, it could be worn down maybe a little more flat right in this area. And I think below these where the screws into, below these connections, there might be a hole going in the roof, so it's entirely possible that it's leaking right through here. So it could be a gasket is needed for this piece here. Yeah, thinking that'd be the case. So I can see if I can order this gasket. If not, then I guess I would have to order all new lights that come with the gasket. That is the condition of what we're looking at under here. So that's how you do that. Pretty simple process. This light being a lot longer, I had to take the plastic trim tool and work it under one corner first on the side, then go to the middle, then to the back, and then just start working it along as I get more and more of a gap. Again, be careful. The plastic against the metal is fine, but you don't want to crack this plastic as you're going along. If your truck's age is a lot older, if you're watching this video years from now, or if you know this plastic's been in the hot sun way more cycles than this truck has, then you know that could be a factor as well. The plastic might just break. There might be no way around it. So, but do your best, be careful, and if you have to get a new light, then that's what you got to do. But you just have the connector there, and then you can just swap it out. And then be careful that you hold the connector, or put some tape around or something so it don't fall down through the hole, because then you'd have to end up pulling the headliner most likely to get it back out. Unless you had some neat nose pliers, you can get in there and work it back out. So that's pretty much that. So thanks for watching. We'll get on to the next video on this truck. Oh, and PS, there is, as you can see, another hole here. There's a hole where each of these screws get screwed into. And this is a little connector that flopped out. So I'll pop it back in, but I just wanted to show you that I clamped the whole area and there is a hole for each of these screws. So there's going to be 4 possible leak points on the middle light, 3 possible leak points on the side lights. So I think, yeah, it's going to be best that I go ahead. I'll just get gaskets for all of them and replace them. That'll be the best. That way we don't have to worry about another leak popping up later down the line. All right, update guys, my gasket kit for my rooftop lights came in. So I took the middle light off first to show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take off the old gasket, which it's probably stuck on there some really sticky tape. So I'll probably have to work it and see how best I can get it off with some scrapers and whatnot. And it looks like they give you this alcohol pad in this kit by this brand. There's some more info on it there. I guess you're going to wipe down the surface after you scrape off the old gasket. And then the new one they give you is just remove the this little film there, so the sticky side's underneath it. And I don't know if you can pick it up on video, but you have these cutouts. One here, that's a circular cutout. You have a square cutout. Then you have another square cutout here, and then one more right here. So the square cutouts are for where your mounting screws are going to go through. And then your circular cutout, I guess this will actually be more like this, will be for your connector there. It looks like we'll test fit it before we peel off the backing here, but we may have to actually open that hole up just a little bit more for the connector. But we will find out. But it looks like they made this gasket new and pretty well, because everything looks like it's going to line up with the existing holes on the light. So I will go ahead and get to scraping off the old one, and we'll see about reinstalling the new one. And then they give you 2 more for the smaller lights on either side. Again, there's your circular hole for the wire, and then where your 2 mounting screws go through those screw holes. And it should be noted, I think I already said this, but the screw actually has a piece of rubber underneath it as a washer, which I also think helps to keep water out as it gets mounted through the holes in the top of each light. So keep all that in mind, and good luck on your install. Okay, so the old gasket actually peels off by hand, so I'm glad I didn't have to get my metal scraper in there. And I don't want to damage any of this plastic surface, so that's good. It just comes off like you ever buy something and it has one of those stickers that will not peel off in one piece. It peels off in a bunch of tiny pieces. That's basically how this gasket will come off for you. So I'm just going to keep peeling it off as I go. And then there's actually maybe 2 alcohol pads. It was folded. And so yeah, I will definitely be using these. I'll probably use one on the big piece here, and I'll save the other one for both the smaller ones, and that should take care of me so I can clean off all the old residue. The old residue is sticky. It'll leave a nice, it'll be nice to leave some of it, you know, just any areas that are full of a lot of buildup. I want to take that down so the new gasket sits nice and flat. So yeah, we'll keep working, and again, I may have to widen up some of these holes slightly, but we'll see if we don't have to, because maybe this can stretch a little bit as it goes over the connector and over each hole. There's also some small recesses in here I've noticed. Those don't really affect anything. Just keep those in mind when you're pressing the gasket down. You don't want to accidentally press it down in there and create a divot in your gasket. Other than that, you should be good to go. Okay, so I'm pretty much going to leave most of the residue. It barely sticks up. It barely sticks up from the surface of the backside of these lights, and plus it'll help with the new gasket adhering to the back of these lights. Also, this circular hole for this square, again, square doesn't go into a circular hole, right? So unless it's big enough, but I'm gonna have to widen out this circular hole Pretty much probably just try to make it into a square, because if I try to stretch and force it, especially once I take the backing off, it's going to get stuck all to this connector. So I'm trying to push it down. It's going to mess up my gasket. So what I'm going to do is just widen that hole. And then if you look, the mounting holes on the sides are not in line with the middle mounting hole, but all three of these holes, the square holes they give you, are pretty much in line. So I may have to, well, we'll take a look. I think what I'll do is I'll widen out this circular hole. I'll sit the gasket down onto the surface lightly so I can get it back off, keep the backing on, and then make sure these square holes line up with my mounting holes for my screws. Also, another point of interest is take a look at your screw, and if the rubber, the black rubber, is all cracked or dried out, I'm wondering if you didn't have anything around, could you take these little punch outs that come out of the gaskets and just kind of punch your screw through here. Of course, it'd be, one side be sticky. But if you have some rubber laying around, or if you even had like little rubber washers, you could probably just make your own really easily. So just make sure none of your rubber is cracked or dried out, because that could be a potential leak point. At least I would think, because you got the screw going through the hole and the gasket is still only going to be around the hole. So just double check all your work, that way you won't have any leaks. Okay, so it's a snug fit, but I trimmed the sensor hole out just a little bit, made it more square from the circle, and my holes actually line up pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this setup. I'll peel off the backing, and then I will install this gasket. And the gasket will actually, it looks like it's gonna stick out a bit from the roof light. You can see in the background compared to the old one, but you know what, that's fine, because that will actually help with possibly help with leaks getting in, because originally the old gasket sat just inboard of this 1/8 thickness, just inside of that all the way around. So we'll just see how it works, and either way it'll be full face gasket, and we'll make sure we tighten everything down nice and evenly, you know, middle out, and this should be good to go. All right, there's a new gasket installed. Looks good on the backside, and I actually don't like the like it sticking out, so I'm going to trim it all the way around, because you know this is very sticky. Once you take that backing off, and anything will stick to that very easily, and that won't look good when you're up there up close looking at it on top of the truck. So let's take my razor blade and trim all the way around, and this gasket will be ready to install. And as you can see through all the mounting holes. And it's nice and snug around the connector, and it's also not thick enough that it's gonna be in the way of the connector at all. And plus the connection goes inside this square housing, so we're all good to go. Last light is done, ready to go back on the car. And the side lights on either side of the middle light, it has actually a plastic housing almost around the connector, so you actually have to trim your gasket holes a lot bigger than you would, and don't trim them square, trim them to match this circular outer piece here. And then also make sure to test fit it before peeling off your backing, your white backing, to make sure that the screw holes are going to line up with the holes in the top of the light. And we'll go get this reinstalled, and then the job will be done. So thanks for watching, and more repair videos coming next. Good morning, guys. It's the next morning. It is a chilly 41 degrees out. It's actually a little bit of frost almost built up on the roof lights, but I will show you them. I think if I open the door, no, that doesn't kick them on. Okay, so I actually have to key on and turn on the lights to show you the lights are working. Then we'll get an up close shot of the gaskets. So I'll click it over to full lights, and a little dew this morning, but nothing leaked through. We'll check on that again when it rains. But okay, so now you can see the lights still operate, so nothing got messed up there. And if I step on my running board here, you can see there's moisture, you know, just from the morning dew. And yeah, there's actually a little bit of frost. It's 41 degrees out. It's crazy. Must have been in the 30s overnight. But the gaskets are full faced all the way around on all the lights. You can see these gaskets are visible. The other ones were encapsulated inside the light because they didn't come out all the way for a full face gasket. But I actually prefer this. That way I can visually see as they age if there's any cracking and dry rotting later on. So very happy with this setup here. And I will show you the other side, and that'll be it. So another fix is done on the truck. And this truck is it's nice to work on. Everything's pretty easy to get to. Nothing's crazy rusted out, so just enjoy it. And there's not a whole lot to fix on it, just doing my maintenance also. So yeah, that's what they look like at this morning, dewy, frosty morning. So thanks for watching, and that is the gasket on the roof lights all done. And oh, I got a dash cam as well. The dash cam gives you like this electrostatic piece of film, I think they call it. It sticks right to the windshield, no problem. And you got the double-sided 3M tape to hold the dash cam up there. So yeah, anyways, gonna keep on driving it and enjoying it.